tests. I'm gonna take call-ins from my laptop so we can do the streaming today. And how you guys doing? Come on in, yo.
Yeah,
We
fine.
can do the streaming today. Are you in? And how you guys doing? Come on, yo.
Yeah,
We
fine.
can do the streaming today. Are you in? You in?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let me disconnect this thing. We don't need this right now. All right, everybody. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Just waiting for the viewers to enter. And yeah. So the big news about the two-state solution is all the way up in what, till November? For the viewers to enter. And yeah. So the big news
Wait,
about
what's
the
happening
two-state
here?
solution is all the way up in what, till November? Did you close
Um,
Discord? Close your Discord.
no, my Discord is closed. Uh, weird. You can.
Did you close Discord? Close your Discord.
I am now. You know what? Let me just. Weird. All right, now I hear just you. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So give us a little about the global update about this two-state solution thing.
It started from uh uh the the Hamas campaign about the starvation in Gaza. Now, I will say the following: if you're asking me that if there is some level of starvation in Gaza, I cannot say there isn't any. However, I believe that it's stupid to lay the blame on Israel, consider the fact that throughout the entire war, we have flooded Gaza with humanitarian aid. And I think that people forget that the reason why the people are starving in stark contrast to the food being delivered is because uh, Hamas is stealing the food, and not just Hamas, the criminals, and even and even without this, the population in Gaza has descended into complete social anarchy. It's a sort of mentality of the survival of the fittest.
I see. So, in your recommendations, like, what do you feel should be done at this point? Like, I know many people agree and then many people disagree at this time. What is the best cure? Because I know I've spoken to my first ever lifetime Palestinians. I don't know any Palestinians, by fact, I don't. First ever, and they're like, oh, we need a new government, and I'm like, you can't. So what changes do you need to make as a government? And they're like, Hamas has been controlling Gaza since 2000. I'm like, I understand that. That's not Israel to blame.
2006.
Yes, I'm like, if based on that from your previous mistakes till now, what do you think needs to be changed? Because there's many Palestinians who have moved to Israel throughout time and to have a better future because of the way things were working for Gaza.
Wait, what do you mean they moved into Israel?
That's early history, man. Some Palestinians did shift to Israel. Not all of them, some of them. That's why
A
they live
small
there.
minority might have managed to do this before the disengagement, not
Yes,
after the disengagement. And I think
right.
what you're referring to is maybe you talking about Palestinian workers from Gaza
Yes, who came there, right? That was early
who
history.
came to work but not to live in Israel.
Oh, okay, then that was weird when that the Palestinian said he has friends in Israel, and some people stated that some Palestinians do live in Israel. That's a discovery, actually.
Not only that, there were in the kibbutzim. Some people there also helped to drive Gazans from Gaza to hospitals in Israel. Turns
I,
out that the Palestinians used these opportunities in order to uh, essentially spy for Hamas, as it was discovered during October 7th.
do you remember like how the Israelis? I know this stuff is always limited on camera, and it's not actually shared how it should be. Is that how the Palestinian Israel give Yahya Sinwar their leader treatment? And I know that's completely off camera, but they have given them treatment. But throughout
Yeah,
time, since
yeah. Sinwar was diagnosed with cancer, and we treated his cancer. To be
Mhm.
honest, I think it might have been preferred to die from the cancer than the bullet. I mean, seriously, you've seen the you. I don't know if you've seen the photos of it of his corpse. It was very interesting to watch.
I've
I
seen
don't
that.
necessarily. I want to say glorious, but I can't because eventually there might be children here. Actually, it was a scandal in Israel
No, there's
because
there's no
they
children
showed
here.
the photo of his corpse without any filters or censorship at an hour where children could watch.
No, but like okay, so the let's see if any viewers are watching and they're coming and going. So like let's come to conclusion. Anybody can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, if anybody's watching, who agrees to the two-state solution? And if you disagree, give thumbs down why. Hi, the goat. How you doing? First viewer here. How you doing? So if you agree to the two-state solution, I have Israeli Zionists too. Give your thumbs up or thumbs down. Who agrees and who disagrees to all this? I'm literally the only person watching. They're slowly coming in. Hey, Derek Northeast. Yeah, technical difficulties in the beginning. My laptop's just not connecting, so I had to use the stream camera from here. And I can use Discord call-ins. And I think something happened to my partner. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm
So,
here. I'm here.
yeah. So, guys, big global news for November. Who agrees and who disagrees with the two-state solution? Billboard announcement for November. Who agrees and who disagrees?
This
Global
is a-
announcement for November. Who agrees and who disagrees with the two-state solution? It's gonna
I will
have an
just
impact. It is gonna have an impact because Druze are fighting for the same thing. Kashmiri people are still not free
wait.
to.
I don't. I haven't heard anyone saying that the Jews want a state
No,
yet.
that's in their history. They do want one, but they can't have one because of the
Where
situation.
I think you might. I
The
feel like you
Kurds
might
are talking out.
confuse
No, the
Are
Kurds
we
were
talking about
talking
the
about it.
Kurds? Wait. Are we talking about the Kurds or the Druze?
Okay, so when I spoke to the Kurds, right, me personally, and since Druze been living under their own issue throughout history, they wish they can have a state, but obviously they can't have a state due to situation. That's what I'm trying to say. They wish they could, but they can. The Kurds have one, even though the Kurds are linked to Iran with Kurdistan, but they have some disagreements in Kurdistan. Now I'm not sure what do they want to be free from, but yeah. Hi, don't mess with me, my kitty. How you doing? Okay, guys, share thumbs up or thumbs down. Question of the day: Who wants a two-stage solution? Yes or no?
I
Your
think
call.
instead of who wants, who you should ask who believes
Okay,
if it's
you
possible.
ask. You ask your fans. You're the guest today.
I
Who?
don't have any fans yet. Anyway, I'm just saying that the right question should ask instead of if you support or against. I think it should be asked if it
Thank
could even be
you. I love you
possible.
too. So, guys, who agrees to the two-state solution? Who?
Who thinks it's possible?
Yeah, listen to the Israeli Zionists. Who thinks it's possible? Agree or disagree, or you have some like sayings to all this? This is the global announcement for November. I wonder what they're gonna say.
Don't be shy and don't worry. The Mossad is not going after you.
Okay, our first member, J and K, he said agree. Anybody who disagrees is so. If you disagree, I'm gonna send a Discord and you're gonna tell us why. Why do you disagree? So you can have a debate with one of us. You can either have it with a Zionist Muslim or you can have it with a Zionist Israeli. With either one of us work. Share your thoughts. Why?
I disagree, by the way.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, maybe I believed it was a it might be a suitable idea before October 7th, but definitely not now.
Well, obviously, duh. After that madness and knowing the hostages are still not back, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Right now, it's a chaotic mess for Israel and those I say start off to agreement by giving the hostages back, and then yeah, that's the first step. I know many people ask me that question, guys. I spoken to my first ever Palestinian, and I'm like, why don't you just give the hostages back? What's wrong with giving the hostages back? Is it really so bad? And he's like, Hamas doesn't listen. I'm like, if you guys been living in jail since 2006, You gain nothing. You literally gain nothing. He controls your schools, he controls your religion, he controls everything. So how about if you don't want your people to die, how about you just let the hostages go so you can live peacefully? Until those hostages there, you're gonna keep getting killed. And he actually woke up. He's like, "Yeah, you're right." I'm like, "Damn!" Because the Israelis want the hostages back. Free those hostages. You will be free. Now, this two-state solution topic comes in. I don't know what impact it's going to have on people. I really
Oh,
don't.
here's the immediate impact. The immediate impact of this whole debate about this two-state solutions now is essentially a bog down of the negotiation to end the war. By actually propping this up, it forces the Israeli government to not go to actually conclude the war in order to get the hostages, and Hamas is getting emboldened, and also thinks he can eat the cake and keep it whole.
Right. In a Muslim point of view,
And
okay,
so
I
it's
know you
the
asked me
question
this.
is a matter of bad timing.
Okay, I know in a Muslim Zionist point of view, I told you long back, I agree, but then I also disagree. The part that I disagree is because they need a new government, and in order to be trusted, and they need a new government. No matter who it is, they just need a new government, period. The part I do agree, which I told the Palestinian myself personally, all you have is Gaza. You can't have anything else. Now you can turn Gaza into a miniature version of a state like Jordan, but you can't have any more than that because Israelis need the place. And I explained to him why. Unfortunately, he believes in Jewish history that, yeah, Jews were exiled, this, that, and I answer all those questions as a Zionist Muslim. That if you know Jewish history, they were exiled, they were never invaded in the first place. They just don't have a place to go. And they already gave you Damascus, they gave you Samaria, which is the West Bank. You know it. You know, he said you're right. I'm like, now where do you possibly expect them to go now? You can't have any more than that.
When you said that the government needs to be reformed, fixed, or whatever, I suspect pigs will fly before the Palestinian Authority will ever become a functioning government. And if there would be this technocratic government that Egypt is talking about for the Palestinians, and Hamas are saying, sure, we will let them rule. The
Yeah.
moment they think they can get away with it, Hamas or whatever new Palestinian organization, terror organization that will rise up in its stead, will murder all of them and throw them off buildings, just like how Hamas threw the Fatah out of uh, out of buildings and out of Gaza. Literally throw them off the buildings, off the roofs.
It's ridiculous because throughout time they have always stated that it was the Israelis, but it was never the Israelis. When I spoke to that Palestinian, asked him historical questions like, "What about the war in 2006?" And you guys been warring since. In one direction, you guys say that no, Israeli is innocent. So I'm like, why don't you expose this information that you guys been living under Hamas abuse since 2006, and like literally you guys know it. This is the dirty truth. So why are you making yourself the victim cards in this
Don't
mess?
forget the Black September.
I
By the
told them
way,
that. Yeah, I mentioned that. I mentioned the Black September.
for the audience who are not aware, even though I suspect that some are aware, that Black September is a reference to the time where Fatah and who would later who become the Palestinian Authority, when they were based in Jordan, essentially tried to carry out a military uprising against Jordanian government and the royal family to try to cut a large number of territory with full autonomy or semi-autonomy.
Yes,
On
and I mentioned that to him. Like, in the early days when Jordan was a state, and you guys, like, literally, you had a chance to build a future. Why did you war the Jordanians? You guys could have easily started a future here. And he's like, no, you're right. It's just our government didn't agree. Well, I'm like, it's time for a change, man. How much more are you gonna
whose
live like this?
government? Wait, whose government are we talking about?
Gaza. The Palestinian state, it was the Gaza government. We all know it's the
You,
Gaza
which
government.
you mean Hamas?
Yep. You know it. You know it.
You need then you need to be specific about these things.
I
I
did.
mean,
There's only
by
one
the way,
government.
no, no, I'm
Everybody
not
knows
saying
it.
you, but by the way, the fact that the world is believing nonstop to the Gaza Health Ministry, which is essentially Hamas, and like people, just because it sounds fancy and legitimate, does not make it so. It's the
Uh,
same people who carried out the October 7th attack and everything that happened. Now, I also do not believe that even if the vote in the UN will be carried out for the recognition of a Palestinian state, it's two things that are hindering further progress in this matter. Number one, um, in order to actually officially make a state, it's up to the Palestinians themselves to establish a state, number one. Number two, any enforceable action is carried out by the UN Security Council, which I think the United States under President Trump are not going to be very enthusiastic about. And number three, I think that the problem that everybody keeps forgetting, there is a reason why in the negotiations to the recognition of a Palestinian state, it usually supposed to go hand in hand with ending the conflict with Israel, between Israel and the Palestinians. Because if tomorrow a Palestinian state will rise, it will just be a matter of 5 minutes until either A, it will collapse due to internal pressures and turn into a new Hamastan, or after seven, or if option B, after 7 minutes, Israel will declare war, which will be won rather quickly, considering the fact that Israel is not going to be pushed out of the quote unquote established Palestine.
no, right, right. That they have to sign a permanent like a agreement contract that as of today, if they become a state, they are not going to board the Israelis for any stupid excuse. That even includes the holy sites. That if you are to become live side by side and give people,
Mona, by the way,
yeah.
did you post the? Oh, Holly, did you post the this to your Discord? I think they might not be aware of it.
I'll send them again. You share the link. I'll give the link again. But let's continue talking. Is that
Sure.
look? All I know is that as of now, if they do become a state, they need to come to serious agreements that they're not going to war the Israelis. And another thing I'm supporting, and they better stick to it, is that they will let the Jews enter the holy sites as a new government. They have to come into agreement with that, so they
Are
can
you talking
enter.
like changing the status quo, renegotiating the current status quo? You mean?
Like, you know how they don't let people enter the holy site? Didn't you mention to that me before as living in
I
Israel?
said nowadays people are entering. Technically, people are not allowed to pray over there. That is the big difference. Technically, Jews are not allowed to pray because of its Jewish religious doctrine in Israel. But
Duh.
in the past, Israeli Jews were not permitted to enter even because of security concerns. Nowadays, it's a bit different now because of
Are you allowed to?
joint.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Are you allowed to enter there as of now based on what the media
I suspect
shows?
that if I want to enter, I think there is maybe a 70% chance that I could enter.
Okay, I would say that's okay for now. Don't you think so? Yes or no?
I think so, but I understand from a Jewish religious point of view why people that wouldn't want us, why the religious leadership in Israel would not want Israelis to enter uh, the Temple Mount because it technically is a holy site, a holy ground for us, and we don't want to defile it, even though the Palestinians are defiling it every day.
Hmm. Now, viewers, you see, like, I want to point out to my viewers, whoever's watching me, okay, away from my friend, the Israeli Zionist who came to the show today, I want people to understand it's amazing how the media states something from, like, all over Twitter and how it shows that Israelis don't allow people or Israelis prevent people. No, it's both directions and it's nobody to blame. It's like, from, I'm not going to say the Israeli point of view, he can answer himself, but from the other side, the Palestinians, who they need to come to a sincere agreement with the Israelis. Like, let me answer some of the questions that have the media have not said. They've always provided aid. They've provided water, just like India lends water to Pakistan when needed, and it hasn't stopped. Only you could say it stopped during the when they got into a fight. Other than that, it doesn't stop. Same for Israel, providing the medication, the best medication, water, and all those tools to Gaza whenever needed. Now the media terminates all this information. That's why it's important to talk to some Israelis who know
Yeah,
people.
and you know who is financing this? Qatar. Under the Qatar is the biggest financier of all this
Learn
misinformation
behind the
regarding
curtains,
Israel.
guys. Don't worship media anymore. Learn behind the curtains. There's mistakes, big mistakes in the Gaza world. It's not the citizens, it's their government. Hamas.
Yeah,
Hamas
yeah,
is their
but
government.
actually, I can't say this. It's too dark. Yeah, that is an important issue, but I think that many people have learned watching how, first of all, from the American perspective, surrounding the whole affair around President Trump, and in Europe, surrounding the whole matter with the quote unquote refugees slash illegal migrants, including the gang rapes over there.
So, as of now, back to the topic for the two state. How do you feel about it? Be honest. What do you see it coming in your world as an Israeli? Do you agree to this or do you disagree? And share your thoughts. What do
I
you
dis-
see coming?
I disagree, and I see that nothing will actually come of it. It will be a massive pressure, but I am also wondering what will happen out of President Trump meeting with President Putin, and what agreement will come from that. Because even though some disagree with my analysis on this matter, I believe that if a change could occur in the matters surrounding the war in Ukraine, it might free more uh, attention back to how to end the war in Gaza.
That makes sense. I agree to that. You know what? I'm thinking like I wonder, well, you can ask your friend Hackstar, would he want to come up here and share his thoughts? That's what I want to know, because some from what I've seen, some Israelis agree with the two-state solution, some don't. And that's what I want to my answers today as a Zionist Muslim. What's the deal? Some agree, but then some disagree. And I'm not blaming anybody. Why? Because of all the storm from 2006, all these wars that have happened with you guys. Who's ready to compromise? Nobody. If somebody warned me that long, I would be like, I'm not ready to trust them again. I think that's the perfect person if he's willing to come up here. But yeah, that's the topic, guys. Now, if you are watching me, honestly, that is the global announcement for November that there is going to be an announcement that the Palestinians are going to have a state. People still think it's an illusion.
You need to
And
realize something that when you're asking, there is the problem is that for Israeli, when you ask if you are for or against two state
I don't know if
solution,
it is a,
for
I
an
don't know.
Israeli, it essentially became a question whether you are pro or against Israel.
No, I'm
Because
talking
for
to my
us,
viewers,
because
buddy.
considering
I'm
that,
talking to my viewers. My
oh, sorry,
viewers. I was
sorry.
talking to my viewers. That's the question
I,
for them. The people who are watching the show, that question is for them. That as of knowing that how many wars ever since Hamas militant ruled Gaza Strip and they tried to war the Israelis, as of today, due to the global announcement of the two-state solution, I want to see what my viewers have to feel about this. Some may be watching me a little bit later, some may watch me now. And this is your chance to explain. Like, if you were somebody hearing this announcement in November, do you support the solution or you disagree with it, knowing what's happened throughout the years? And that message is for my viewers. Hi, hello. Down there. I know who that is.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you can share. What did I want to hear from your perspective because it's a big change in your community. Are you prepared for it or not?
you know what? Let me ask you this question, both in the audience and you, Holly. Do you think a Palestinian state alongside an Israeli state could actually work, or and if you think that it's a good idea?
Work. I think it can, but it can't. I'm saying it both ways. I feel if they get a new government, it can work, but if they stick to this current government, it certainly cannot work because they are
Which
connected to
is
like.
what are you talking about the Palestinian Authority as well?
Yes, yes. I'm referring to everybody back there because all those people are connected to like places like Syria, they're connected to Lebanon, they're connected to Iran's government, they're connected to Libya, Iraq. So that whole team needs to be a new team who's not linked to these people. That's the only thing I can say to.
Here's the problem I have learned about Palestinians. The fact is that I've never seen any Palestinian political movement that didn't eventually, at one point or completely, became a terrorist movement. Like, for some reason, the Palestinians think that all their political actors have to go through a rite of passage of being terrorists and murdering Jews. And
Yep.
then people are surprised why Israelis are skeptical of the Palestinians having a state that they themselves would probably wish they could use in order to try to chip away more of Israel's territory. But here's the funny thing is, I will say the only reason I might want is the Palestinians to have a state is for two reasons. Number one, reparation. Let these bastards pay us back for almost 60 years of war. And number two, if they pull something, we can blow the shit out of them. And unlike the current situation, nobody will lift a finger or say anything. Because it's one thing to care about stateless people, but nobody gives a shit about a country. Especially not in the Middle East, if you're weak.
Yes, I agree to that. See, that's the problem that people don't see the mistakes that Palestinians have done by supporting the Hamas militant government. They have to get out of it. When I spoke to a Palestinian myself, I'm like, you guys can make it work if you just get away from the Hamas
Yeah,
militants.
they could try to revolt. Imagine how Palestinians will die in the process. And I will give the Palestinians credit if there are two things that they're good at. They never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity and dying. These are the two things that the Palestinians as the people are good at.
And he actually said that to me. Whoever this guy was, the Palestinian, he actually said this to me that 60 years, all we've been doing is getting ourselves killed because all the Hamas militant want to do is just war Israel. Our entire school is covered with that propaganda and hatred towards Jews. He controls every piece of thing. And he's like, anytime we disagree with something, he targets us instead. So, like, now that we want out, we can make it work. And then he told me something about like Netanyahu. I'm like, all you can do is protect your own government and make your own government fix his own mistakes. Israelis will look at Netanyahu's mistakes, just like me as an American citizen. If I disagree with Trump or any of the presidents throughout the years, that is fully up to me because I live here, I'm born here. I like some of the changes and I don't like some of the changes. That's my right. Same for you guys. And he actually understood that. Like Israelis will see for themselves what they agree and disagree with Netanyahu. Same for Iranians. They want Reza
I
Pahlavi.
might have a lot, and I mean a lot, of disagreements with the current government, but I'm still not fearing that they will murder me. That they would murder me.
That's
Yeah.
everywhere, isn't it?
Only in the Middle East, it's like that.
No, the
In any
governments
other
like
other country in the Middle East, and
yeah.
that because of political disagreement, you would be murdered. Only everywhere beside Israel, it can happen.
I
Israel
mean,
is
look,
not like that. It's similar to Europe, which is also kind of our problem that we have tried to become like a a leftist version of Europe, which we can see how the lefties in Europe are destroying Europe.
look at Iran. Like Iran, Iranians want to be free and bring Reza Pahlavi back. Yes, of course, some Iranians had disagreements, but that's between him and the Iranians.
In
He's
the
a
end
lot
of the
better.
day, it's up to the Iranians, it's up to the Kurds, it's up
Hmm.
to the Palestinians to fix their own problems. Israel is not going to fix the Middle East problems.
They can't.
It's
They can't. They have to look at their own government.
no,
Nobody
not
can
just
fix.
it doesn't matter of just can't or can. It's a matter of personal that uh, something that is given has no worth compared to something that is earned. In the end of the day, the Israelis have earned their country. We've earned it through
Yep.
blood,
Yep.
sweat, and tears. And
Yep.
by the way, I always find it funny that one of the underlying demands that the pro-Pali side usually says when they're talking about the two-state solution is not just saying carve a piece of land and let the Palestinians establish their own country. No,
Let
they're
me
essentially
let me
trying to
say
demand.
something to.
Wait, let me finish. They're essentially demanding Israel to turn itself in from the strong from a strong the strong from a strong position to a weak position. They're asking us to turn ourselves into weaklings. No
No. No.
country in the
No.
world will ever agree to this. Do you think the United States will ever agree in order to make peace with Russia to give all its nukes to Russia?
No. No. Definitely not. Definitely not. And you know what's interesting is that this is one thing I told one of the Palestinians and any of the viewers watching me. Listen to this, guys. If you watch this conflict on social media, then you should also study it a little bit away from the Israelis. Get a load of this. And I asked this to the Palestinian: what was the point of warring Iraq? What was the point of warring Jordanians? They're your neighbors. They're your own. What was the point of doing liberation there? I think it's time you guys need a change and need to focus on what you can gain and make your own space a better place. And that's the only way if you look at your previous mistakes and don't support those mistakes.
It has to be said, however, what are the Palestinians, when you actually look at it, when you actually think about it for a moment, leave the semantics of their connection to the land. All right, the original quote unquote Palestinians were uh, Egyptians who fled from Egypt and in the south, people who escaped from Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and all these areas in Judea and Samaria. Essentially, the Palestinians are a mishmash of various other group of people in the Middle East. That's why they technically have connection with almost everyone, and that's why they also have a rebellious separatist element into the Palestinians themselves, even if they establish a country, or furthermore, why
Okay,
many
so
other
here's a
countries.
stumper question. Here's a stumper question.
All
Let's
right.
say if they do establish the state, it's going to take about up to next year of 2026. Let's say if they do establish a state, how do you think they have any like what are you see them as is making their economy? Israel has made its economy from 1948, no matter how
I would
everybody sees it.
counter question. I will counter your question asking whether or not where exactly this Palestinian state would be established. If it's in Gaza, I would be asking you if they would clear the rubbles already or not. If it's in Judea and Samaria, how did you convince the Israelis to move out of Judea and Samaria?
Right, back to the days before the Ottoman Empire. Right, right. That used to be Judah and Samaria and Damascus before the Ottoman Empire take. We all know that. That's why I reviewed Jewish history on my previous stream, guys. You have to understand.
Actually, the ones who call Judea and Samaria the West Bank have been the Palestinians themselves
I
for
know,
political reasons.
I know, I
By
know
the way,
this.
can you please say that? can you please also let's say the name of Jerusalem, for instance, where the Palestinians claim they want to have a capital there as well in Jerusalem. Can you please tell me what is the first word that if, of the name, please? What is the three letters of the word Jerusalem?
Well, Jew, Jerusalem, Jew.
Exactly. So how exactly is it that your capital is literally uh, has the name of the people you claim has no connection to the city?
Welcome to life, my friends. People nowadays don't like to review from the early past away from what the religions say. Just look at history in the practical order. What me and some of the Christians reviewed. Okay, remember one thing: in any time period of history, the Christian history is first because Islam came last. And if you look in the exact order, you will understand life
Jewish
today.
history also predates
That's the first
Christianity.
one. Yes, right. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at that exact order, even though Hinduism is the oldest religion in the world, but it does not relate to too much to the Middle East. Middle East has its own little history in time, just like South Asian ethnicities, they have their own history. Middle East has its own little jungle history, but you have to start from the beginning all the way down from all the wars, all the way down to the wars from the Holocaust up to 1948, and you will understand where does this come from. Like the Iranians had a good relationship. Iranians are separate ethnicity. There's Christians, Muslims, and Jews who used to live in Iran. They're separate ethnicity. Arabs, there's Arab Christians who lived at the time and Arab Muslims who supported Hitler. They're separate. The Arab Muslims have their own history in the Middle East. They're the Utopians, which is the Albanians and the Bosnians. They have their own history in the Middle East by protecting Jews against Arab Muslims and the Hitler movement. If you understand all that, you will understand today that why Jews are so protected of Israel. It's they're not invaders, it's because of all the stuff that happened in the past. And now some people are waking up. They do not want to support the Muslim Brotherhood. Now they just want to change and live okay happily ever after, if that's
By the
ever
way,
possible.
Israel is not just a place to hide for the Jews. It will also have connections to
Sanctuary.
the land,
Yes, religion wise. I'm just saying political facts if people want to
cultural
understand them.
and also cultural.
Yep. And that's what I'm trying to explain, that you need to understand away from like if you some people like to understand the political way. You want to understand the political way, this is the way. That they've always been there, but they lived through wars. The Jews lived through wars. They never left, but they lived through wars.
Wars, massacres, uh, genocides, slavery.
And people don't seem to really understand from beginning to the end. And Iranians had their own problems in slavery, like when other empires ruled Iran. Iranians are an ethnicity. Arabs, I hope I find an Arab speaker one day who can really tell me the Arab history, but I'm not going to review Arab history because I'm a non-Arab Muslim, South Asian Muslim
If we're talking
ethnicity.
about the Arab history before Islam, it was very similar to many other ancient people in the Middle East, like
Yeah, because there was like
they
Arab
cut
Christians.
between ancient small kingdoms,
Mhm.
city states, and nomadic tribes.
You could say that
Until
because that's what I was
you need
reading.
to
There was,
understand, what Muhammad did, may he burn in hell, did he essentially copied uh, Judaism and Christianity, combine it with a snapshot of of his current Arabic tradition and values, and turn it into a religion
but you see, I learned this from a Jew. I can
that
Let me
massacred,
tell you something.
raped,
I
and
learned this
murdered
from a
throughout the
Jew.
Middle East.
I'm gonna give you his link. I'm gonna post his link right in here. His name is Nomad, who goes to like places. Okay, now if you say that, then that's like saying the relationship of Ishmael and Isaac is a lie because the Arabs
Why?
worship. Yeah, because that's what Jews educated me. Even someone like Shayna educated me that. You
No,
must understand.
first, whoa. Let's put a pin on that. There is One does not cancels the other. It, about Ishmael is has does have connection. Is a connection between the Jews and the Arabs, but that is not the question here. I'm not
But
talking
not,
about the
oh,
Arab. I'm
no,
talking
I'm
about the
getting there.
I am
Hang on.
talking about the
Hang on. Can I
Muslims.
finish? Can I finish?
Sure.
You're
Okay.
cutting
Yeah.
me in the middle. The point I'm trying to make. Okay, look. Away from what Prophet Muhammad did, I'm trying to get to the point here that there were Arab Christians. You need to Arab Christians hold a really, really important role in history. And these are words from Christians themselves who know Arab history because they're Arab Christians. Early time, there were Arab Christian villages before Islam came. More than Jews, there were Arabian Jews too who lived in Saudi Arabia. You got to read about them. So the Arab Christians are the Christians who actually converted to Islam. It starts with them, and I verified that with Arab Christians and regular Christians. It starts with them. So Arab Christians
Uh,
converted into Islam when that time
Wait.
period came.
Can I just respond to what this? I don't know how to read this name. Um, Yeah, but you think with Judaism, it evolved. It didn't stagnate for almost 1,000 years. And by the way, Judaism has it's been a somewhat uh, how do you say it in English?
Yeah, this is your question. This is not mine.
An original concept. The concept of a singular God was a breakthrough in these ancient times. Muhammad copied two religions and fused them with
Okay, we're not
with the
debating.
seventh
Just explain.
century
Explain away.
with the seventh century Arab culture, but it also stagnated, and they literally murdered people to make sure there will be no reforms, no reformation,
Easy,
no
easy, my friend.
theological
It's just
debate.
easy, easy. He's just asking you a question. He's not saying anything.
I believe I answered him. Correct.
Yeah, he's just asking you a question. It's that my point being is that that was early time period. All the religious case. If you were to look at statistics, Hinduism, I bet not a lot of people remember Hinduism, but it's there in the books. Then there was Buddhism and a couple of other religions like Druze. If you were to study the Druze, they have their own version too, but not a lot of the people know the Druze religion. I bet not a lot of people even know that Jews have a religion. You see what I'm saying? The top priority religions throughout time, it was always has been, was Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Hi, Haxar, how you doing? We're just reviewing stuff. So now, if you were to like, there's two ways I see this two-state solution. Okay, and you can give me your honest opinion as Israeli Zionist. I'm gonna give it to you as a Muslim Zionist.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, by the way, I have been informed about something. I forgot to mention. I have a different approach also about I'm supporting a two-state solution only in a different location. A two-state solution. Palestine in France, Palestine in Ireland, Palestine in Britain. Actually, London looked like Islamabad, so
yes,
that's
there's
an
a
option also. They want to recognize the Palestinian state. They have enough enough Arabs and Muslims and whatever in Europe to establish several Palestines.
the thing is they're okay. Look, I'm gonna do my best way to explain this. Okay, you don't have to agree with me, I respect that, but like let's Jews are at ethnicity now for the globe to recognize them. They're official ethnicity and a nation. Those who are mixed, who are not officially recognized as an ethnicity, this is what they do. They want to claim somewhere to be recognized. Jews are already recognized now. As of today, nobody can reject them. Their ethnicity is officially recognized by the state of
Believe
Israel.
me, they still try.
Yes, and that's the problem. The people who are still not they're an ethnicity, but they're not a nation. They're not a nation to be recognized, and that's their biggest war. That hey, we're Palestinians, we need to be recognized. We're Palestinians, we need to be recognized. But the world don't work like that because the world it works with money. Who's going to give their space? Who's going to make it happen? That's a lot of stuff for someone to have.
Considering the Arab and Muslim countries have a lot of money from oil, they should have enough money to establish several Palestinian states as well. You know what? I have no. I think that maybe even Jordan could become Palestine. That was the original idea. Was that there would be two states separated by the Jordan River,
But the
Palestine and Israel. That was the
problem is,
original goal.
okay, if you look at facts, remember Black September, and knowing that Jordan has stepped away from the Muslim Brotherhood, Jordan has gave them a chance. But as of now, it's very rare for Jordan to ever see them the same way because they supported the Muslim Brotherhood. Now they're away. They have nothing to do with Palestinians because they did their liberation throughout the years. You see, guys, if I have Muslims on my channel or any Palestinians, nobody's saying that they're bad. It's just they need to learn from their mistakes. They have made some mistakes throughout the years.
Uh,
And
uh,
those are the mistakes they need to learn from and not use for their tomorrow. That's the only way they can make it work with their neighbors.
you
If they're gonna
know, they had They have almost 70 years of. Uh, I've had 70 years to learn. At this point, they just don't care. And I actually
Okay,
agree.
answer your best friend Mike.
Oh
I mean
yeah, by the way,
answer.
XR is
Answer.
correct. XR is correct. It's not the Palestinians who really want a two-state solution. That's something they said. They're usually saying in front of the Israelis and in front of Europeans, who mostly are leftists. Essentially, they want a one-state solution. After they murder all of the Jews, then
They
they will
can't
go
have
on to
that.
murder everyone else.
They can't have that. Sorry. That's not going to happen and it's never going to happen. They're going to have to make things work with Jews. There's just no way. Rather, they can dream on today, tomorrow, whatever their militant government says. They can't have that because, according to history itself, like I said, I asked every single one of my viewers, Lauro, where will the Jews go? Where will they need that space? They need that space. They can't leave. They need to stay there. They want a final solution. The final solution is stick with what you got or don't gain anything at all. That's how I see it. Final solution is stick with what you got or don't gain anything at all. Hey, I think something happened to my partner at the side. You there? Hello? I lost him. He keeps coming and going. Something happened to him. But okay, I'm not sure if he's coming back or not, but that's the agreement, guys, that okay, look. They need to stick with what they got. They cannot have anything farther than that. Hang on, he's coming back. Let me add him. You got cut. You in there? There you are. Yeah, you got cut in the
I'm
middle.
sorry. I had the technical difficulties on my side.
That's fine. But we'll just come to conclusion for the two-state solution. They need to stick with what they got or they can't have anything further than that. It's either stick
They
with what
just
you're
want
getting.
a, as XR said, which I totally agree with him. They simply want to carry out a final solution.
Right. And from what I heard, like was based on Arab studies, is that they're only going to have Gaza. They can't have any more than that. I'm sorry. I'm saying that as a Zionist Muslim because, like I said, where will the Jews go? They can only make Gaza into a state. What the activist Anila Ali said as well. They can only get Gaza, fix it up, and turn it into a mini state. Jordan's not that big either. Fix it up and turn it into a state, but they can't have anything farther than that because the Jews need a place to stay, and the Israel's the safest place for a Jew.
It's
And
not just
nobody's.
we need it's not just we need a place to stay. It's ours.
I know it's
And
yours,
it,
but that's how people see. If we're the non-Jews, we know your history. It's yours. We get it. But if you don't have a place to go, that's how we're gonna see you, right? That Israel is your sanctuary.
it's it's like saying that your home is just your sanctuary, not your home. You
No, but
know?
look at the past. How many times have Jews been kicked out of other countries? You must add
Yeah,
that.
because these were not our home.
You didn't have a home at the time. That's what I'm trying to say. Before the state of Israel, how many Jews were exiled throughout time?
Wait, we are not murdering anybody there.
I'm
All
not
right?
talking about murdered. I'm
No,
saying.
I'm responding to this guy.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. That's what okay, yes, respond to him and then I'll respond to you what we were discussing. Respond to this guy. Go ahead. You can put in the chat if you're able to chat. That's what the Israelis are basically doing. Final solution, Palestinians out more. I'm going to see if I can answer this guy. No, they are not. This is where the benefits came in. Remember when I told you about the benefits? You need to let these guys know that Israelis have gave Palestinians benefits before, away from October 7th. So they understand that this is not suddenly today. They have helped their neighbors before,
By
away
the
from.
way, Gaza is currently unlivable. Half of it is rigged to blow, literally, and the other half is completely ruins. So where exactly do you want to live? You want them to live right now, exactly, huh? Because Israel is not going to pay for this. They're not going. Israelis are not going to rebuild Gaza for them.
Right,
And I
right.
don't see, and I until every and I've heard every Muslim country saying that they will not put a dollar into rebuilding Gaza as long as Hamas is still there, and Hamas are refusing to leave. So I don't know what exactly do you prefer. What do you
O-
want then to happen?
Okay. I can't read Hebrew. Did he say in Hebrew or what language did he say? I'm going to answer his question too. Look, it's not Israel to blame at all because they've been doing this mess since 2006. As much as the people are saying that it's been warring, why would they war? They gave the Gaza Strip, they gave Judah and Samaria away. Then, when the borders were open, many Palestinians did get to enter Gaza. Words from Israelis themselves. I've seen one or two in there, and they served the IDF. But if you're going to keep warring the people who are going to give you benefits, eventually they are going to attack you back, which is the current attack day of October 7th. Now, a simple solution here, if you just give back the hostages, if you want Palestinians to survive without being bombed or almost, just give the hostages back. Watch what happens. But if Hamas militants are not going to give them back, this mess is clearly going to continue.
Exactly, and I think that they know that, but they continue to.
Those
It's easy to
Palestinians
put.
who know, they're literally protesting about this to get rid of Hamas militants because Hamas
Well, I
militants are in.
suspect it's easier to accuse the Jews than and the Israelis than actually taking responsibility. I'm not, however, will admit that the Israeli government has been behaving like idiots as well, allowing themselves to fall into this moralistic nonsense. There
Any
is a
questions
reason
for
why
that?
everybody says that war is hell. War is
Mm-hmm.
not is not a fucking picnic.
Yes.
On the other
Yes.
hand, I
Yes.
don't, I do not, I do not agree with anybody. What you realize when you're saying group punishment? What do you mean exactly? Do you mean that Israelis are that IDF soldiers are lining up uh, Gazans and shoot them and then put them in mass graves? Are you nuts?
How about I invite him? Would you want to talk to my Israeli friend on a call? Would you want to do that? Who wrote that? I can't read Hebrew. Would you like to come in
It's
and talk?
not Hebrew. It's not Hebrew.
What language is that? I can't read it.
I think it might be Greek, but I'm not sure.
Hey, if it's Greek, would you like to come in and talk in on the mic and share your thoughts that why you disagree with this? I can give you the link to Discord and you can enter the channel and you can
Yeah,
share your thoughts.
but I swear, if he's calling me a dirty Jew or something like
No,
that,
no, that's
I
not
won't
allowed
understand.
here because I have Jews in my community. Just have a formal talk that why do you disagree? Because I know there's things going on in Greek right now and I reviewed that too. But I, as a Muslim, I reviewed. I'm not saying that what's happening to Palestinians is right. I never said that. But no, at work, coworkers would freak out. Okay, no problem. But as a Muslim,
Why?
I'm telling
Wait,
you,
why would they freak out? Why? Is it because he would be talking with the evil,
well,
scary
you,
Israeli?
no, I would never call you that, bro.
I know, it's okay. I was just messing with
I
you.
love my viewers. You guys, you gotta enter my Discord so we can have VC moments. You guys gotta come in, and you guys can choose some topics too. I'll review on my stream with you. But I'm just gonna say, as a Zionist Muslim, like the fact is that look, they have to fix their mistakes. It's for their own benefit as well. If they're gonna keep living in the storm, I'll give you the home example. If I invited someone to my house, even if it's a Muslim or some of my family members, right? But if they're going to sabotage my house, my kitchen, my bathroom, how long am I going to tolerate them? That's human nature, man. So same for the Arab countries when they kick Palestinians out, but they also want them to fix their mistakes, which would be the Hamas militants. Because if you review through time, away from October 7th, Israelis have given them benefits, like the ones who moved there. You
We
nobody can
allowed
say
them to enter here for medical, for work and for medical assistance as well. Like
learn from
people.
Yahya Sinwar, who's dead, who gave
No,
them
yeah,
treatment.
Sinwar was receiving treatment in prison, which, to be honest, I think might have been better if we allowed him to die from cancer. I think it would have been the humane thing to do.
That's so wrong, but it's funny at the same time. But it's true. They gave that monster treatment, man, when he had tumor. Now they had a choice. Knowing the war is going on, they could have let him be dead, but they still cured the guy in front of the war. Come on, man.
This is before the Gilad Shalit deal.
Still, you could have let the guy be dead, or you chose it to granted life. You gave him treatment.
Yeah, and there is a reason why there is the saying that goes, "No good deed goes unpunished."
None of the stuff is shared, guys. You're not going to find the stuff that I'm sharing on my stream with an Israeli sitting right up front to show how Palestinians are treated versus what the media is saying. This is me. I have a Palestinian who is willing to come maybe on stream next week. His job is to reveal that what Hamas has done throughout the years.
By
So,
the way, I want to offer a different perspective as well.
sure.
That does include the welfare of the Palestinians. That I think that many people do not actually take note. I think. Do you, if a Palestinian state was on the table, can somebody please explain to me what kind of country it would become? Because I don't think that the Palestinians would want to continue to live under a dictatorship.
Who
I
would?
Maybe they do, but I do not know. But I do not believe so. There are far too many educated Palestinians who would want to put themselves in a position where they can be summarily executed because they said the wrong word, dressed the wrong way, etc., etc. The point I'm trying to say is that all of this discussion, nobody even actually think for a moment what would the Palestinian want. They only just pretend to think they know what the Palestinian want. I personally am honest enough to say that I don't care. I care about my own people and my own country. But and again, it's not my responsibility to take care about to care about what the Palestinians want. But all I'm saying is that the fact
The
uh,
two-state
they
solution. They're
solution the
discussing.
two
Yeah,
state solution.
that's coming up. Global
But anyone who
announcement in
say
November.
what about the two state solution or pro pali should actually talk with the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria and in Gaza and ask them what do they want, because simply saying a state without being more clear about it is just wrong. Yes, we already answered you, Shigoni or Shigani.
That is Shigoni. The two-state announcement coming up. That's what it is. The two-state announcement. That's coming up in
By the
November.
way, the two state to everyone's answer, the current two state solution that they want to bring in front of the UN is completely dishonest, because it is not because of any real attempt to bring any lasting changes. Because I've also heard that the Australian government received assurances from the Palestinian Authority, and the demands that the Europeans are asking for the Palestinian Authority are so laughable, because it shows that they don't even realize who they're working with, because half the demands would never be accepted. And beside
Okay.
that,
Let's see if anybody want to come to call in and discuss with you, Dor.
sure.
Yeah. I, okay, let me share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen. Is it gonna let me? Ah, god damn it. Let me just open my Discord. I'm gonna minimize my camera screen and open up my Discord. My phone's already open, so let's go into Discord and go in there. Who's willing to talk about it and share their thoughts about the two-state solution? I know Hexar will. Okay. Continue without starting.
Oh wait, they could also send her.
All right, people can come in here if they believe that this is the right time to share their thoughts. This is the time to share your thoughts. And if anybody wants to enter in here and act talk on the mic directly, then this is your chance. Come right in. The, the room is open.
Oh, give it some time. I'm sure it will. They will join
Yes.
us when they can. But
I love my viewers.
I
Anything.
don't. I don't believe that a Palestinian state will come out of it. And I think that the real question should always
No,
be,
it is
instead of,
Haxar. I'm opening it. Haxar, I'm opening it. You're in my Discord. Start stage. Okay. Anybody can enter if anybody want to
but
enter
I
now.
would agree with them that the idea of living together is bleak. Both sides are stubborn. I know the situation between the countries have been bad, but what if they get become
Come
one
on in,
state?
Haxar.
Oh,
Let's see you debate.
regarding the first one, yes. Unfortunately, both the Israelis and the Palestinian side are too stubborn. But hey, that's how it goes in the Middle East, suppose. And Shigoni, one state solution is a really bad shit insane.
Okay.
You're really asking
Okay,
for
we got
for
callers.
the Israeli Jews
Dorian,
to
we got
become.
callers for you. Hang on.
Oh,
I got
okay.
callers for you. Okay?
Oh,
Okay,
uh,
they're gonna be talking and I'm gonna be quiet, okay? We got two callers. Who wants to go first? Persian or your favorite, Haxar?
all right.
Okay, you're gonna be
Can
muted.
you?
You're gonna be muted, Dorian. Let's bring up Haxar. Raise your
Okay.
hand, Haxar. Raise your hand, Haxar, so I can bring you up.
Um, Holly, I also think that you have muted yourself in the stage.
No, I have to stay muted because then the echoing's gonna come here. The speakers are gonna be
All right.
speaking. So,
XR is already waiting for you, I see.
mm-hmm. Invite to speak.
And then I was trying to answer Sigoni, asking Israeli Jews to become a minority within their own
Hi,
country will
Haxar.
mean a disaster.
Okay, Dorian. He's gonna do the talking, and you're gonna listen to the recording right here.
Okay.
He's on the mic. I'm not gonna
Okay.
talk. I'm gonna mute myself. No, I'm on the YouTube, Haxar. I don't want the echoing going, but yeah, here you go. As long as it's good. Go ahead. What do you want to ask, Dor? Come on up,
And
Dorian. You can come up here if you can come up from your phone.
I can answer wherever he wants.
Okay, go ahead, Haxar Tark. He can hear you on YouTube.
Hang on a minute. I'm having issues here.
Sure. Let me turn up the volume a little bit from my end.
Yeah, it's very hard to do this on a mobile phone while
Yeah.
I'm outside with horses. But
Okay.
yeah, you guys caught me at a bad time. But
Shigoni, can you maybe
I
come
don't think you
over as
guys did a
well
lot to talk
to
about the two
the
states
chat, because
solution.
I prefer to actually
This is
answer
a
to
big
you
thing.
verbally and
Basically,
hear what you have to say.
Hey, Dorian, be quiet. Listen to Haxar.
Two-state
Listen to
delusion
Haxar.
is. Two-state
Sorry.
delusion has been a left-wing dream to create a fanciful thing that never existed, such as two states living together as if they're equals and they would love and hug each other. And that's the fanciful fake two-state solution that the leftists have pushed for decades now and has never succeeded even a little bit in any type of meaningful negotiations for that to exist. So you got to start back from the beginning and let people understand what exactly that two-state solution is. Second, no party except for the Israelis were even willing to entertain a two-state solution. The Israelis were definitely willing to do it if there was an equal partner on the other side that would live in peace with Israel. It's always been that way, and nobody could deny that. And they've even put up tons of fig leaves to try to encourage that. But you got to understand that if you're going to talk about the two-state solution, you have to go back to the beginning on the origins and what this is all about. So it's not surprising that the left-wing governments all over the world is now as Israel is fighting for its survival, is pushing for a fake two-state solution where Hamas is still not been completely eliminated. So they want a two-state solution and push that while Hamas is still in control. Are any of you surprised that that was the case? But the whole point being is it was an illusion from the beginning.
Dorian, there's a lot of wind on your
But
mic.
everybody knew that there was no such thing as this two-state solution, and nothing like that would ever work because only one side was interested in it. And now after October 7th, there's no side interested in it. So why are we like? Why is it even a discussion? It's only discussion because the left-wing countries want to
I
go
brought
rogue,
it up because
put their
the
fingers in the eyes of
discussion is
Jews all
about
over
the
the world,
fact.
and
The
say, "Look,
discussion is
we're going to be on the side of terrorists, and we're going to say we want a two-state solution."
that is the Europeans for
There's
you. That is
no
why the
other
discussion
side
is.
that even exists that could run a country on the other side.
Are you
Nor
think that?
is
Do you
there
think
a
that I
government
disagree with
or
you
is
on
there
this?
even
I
an
agree
agreed
with
upon
you.
area that this place was going to
Let him
exist?
finish, then
It
he can
never
respond.
was.
Dor.
So you gotta, like I said, when you guys bring up stuff like that, you really have to talk about the history because most people have no clue where that originated from. Does that make sense?
Yes, they had chances.
Sort of.
Yeah, they had chances to be a state, but when the British got involved, it's their leaders who
And
rejected.
no, it's even beyond just the British. No, it's not. The you need to realize before the actual end of the mandate, the Palestinians themselves got themselves into a civil war amongst each other about the different doctrines, both of which do not support accept a existence of a Jewish state existing in the Middle East at all. Both the doctrines were between fighting and trying to kill it with diplomacy or kindness or whatever is the correct term. But the point remains that the Palestinians got themselves into a civil war that continues to this very day. There is a reason why there's so many factionalism in amongst the Palestinians themselves, which is usually works to our advantage because if they're not going to work together, why should we make peace with them when they can't even make peace with themselves? But Hexar is correct about one thing. The idea of a two-state solution has been dying for years because no actual progress was made from the Palestinian side, and despite what the Europeans think, October 7th was the final nail in the coffin of that idea.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying a little
By
bit.
the way,
Yeah.
just so you know too, I'm not the one who said anything about the British. That's not what I was referring
No,
to.
I was just telling my viewers that I know many people feel like they never got a chance. They have had chances. It's just they had one concept. They didn't want Israel to be a full state. They wanted to be the full. It's
The
all of it.
Arabs the Arabs and the Palestinians, and later on the Palestinians themselves wasted and squandered their options and their possibility a long time ago. And if the reason why they never had a chance is because they squander it because they thought that
You have to
they
talk in a
could get away
microphone.
with
I
it.
can't hear.
Dor, can you hear Haxar?
Yeah, I can hear him.
I couldn't. I could barely hear him.
Sorry. I said what I said was. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, what I said was that the Palestinians and before them the Arabs they squandered their their chance a long time ago, and if there is the appearance that they never had a chance, it's because the Arabs decided to squander their chances a long time ago. So if they want to cry to someone, they should cry to a mirror.
Well, the thing to understand is anybody who said they never had any chances doesn't not understand history. They've had over a dozen chances.
Yep.
To have a Palestinian
There's sources to
state,
prove
and
it.
they turned it down every single time. Every single time.
Correct.
There's not one time. And as a matter of fact, they could have had at one point they could have had the so-called West Bank was even given to them in the
You
beginning.
know, it's true.
The West Bank
And
was
what
given to
happened?
them. They didn't
And
even
what the
agree with
Palestinians
that. So, like I said, there's no
and what
they
the
don't want the
Palestinians did
solution.
instead.
They never
What the
did. They want
Palestinians
the
did
only
instead.
solution is to expel Jews from the Middle East.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's the
and
Hamas
Muna
solutions.
and Holly, you know what the Palestinians did instead of getting that most generous offer that they got that could get them almost everything they ever wanted, and it was and instead they launched a second intifada. That
Yep.
was
And you
causing
realize
really never to trust again with them.
the The original partition plan was the most generous thing that even Israelis didn't really want, but they even accepted that in the beginning. It was the most generous offer. They would have had a giant area, way bigger than anything that's discussed about today.
They would have
And
had
it was
half
even
of
that was even
Jerusalem.
accepted by the Jewish people, and they turned that down. So there is no, like I said, it's a stupid argument because there's
It's a
never going to be
scam.
one
It's a
because nobody
scam.
wants one.
That is what I'm trying to say. It's a scam.
So, viewers, now you know. So, like, if you hear anything for November, just be warned from the stream. The stream is basically to let you know that the stuff has happened in the past, and they have got a lot. Nobody can say that they never got anything. Then I told you also about the Arab point of view, how they got into wars. I'm not saying they're bad people, and if anything, everybody's assuming a problem. No, it's just their government has used them the wrong way for the wrong intentions. They could have gained so much throughout the years, but their militant group who controls that place used its people to gain the wrong things. And that only caused more deaths for them. It's not really anybody to blame, it's how they use the people.
And
Before
put
we
it this way:
continue,
if you don't believe what we're saying, I hate Wikipedia. I hate a lot of the sources out there. But if you Google it and you look at the non-Israel friendly sources, but look for like reputable sources, Google all the chances that the all the different times that a Palestinian state was offered to Muslims in that area, and you will see that I'm not making it up. I mean, it's well documented information to see without even looking too hard.
What do you have to say to that, Dorf?
I say that it is known to is many in Israel about the non-stop attempt and the hoops we jumped for them. By the way, this is why we ended up with a right-wing government that stayed so long, because all of the attempts to to actually force the Palestinians to make peace with us has been a political squander, and all we got in return was terrorist attacks, stabbing, shooting, rockets, wars, and it just done. After October 7th, it was the final draw. Now there will never be anyone on both the Israeli left and the Israeli right who would ever want to make any recognition of a Palestinian state or make peace with these people, because apparently it's an impractical idea to even try anymore. And really, after what we've seen on October 7th, you want to force us to make peace with these quote unquote people? And I'm not saying it because I'm dehumanizing them. They have done this themselves on October 7th.
Another thing to bring up too is you like they have to understand that there's a reason why they didn't accept it. The Palestinian people have never had a moderate leader in their group in their history.
Yep, that's
You have
one
to
of the
go all the way
problems.
back to what Dorian. Why don't you speak to why don't you speak to what the behavior was that caused the quote unquote the fake name Palestinian people, that what country they got kicked out of and why when they tried to take over the government.
I already talked about the Black September. I already mentioned it.
I'm talking.
Or
I'm
you
talking
mean
about why they were
Kuwait? Or
why
are
they
you talking
were
about Kuwait?
they tried to take over the government and take down the government of a country. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Jordan, Black September.
Yes.
Or
Yes. Most
or
people
you
here,
also,
I can
or
guarantee
unless
you,
you're
know
referring
the
to
story of the
Lebanon.
Palestinian people and why even there are quote unquote refugee camps in Jordan and what happened and why they won't even consider, why they even have such a hard time in dealing with them themselves, because they're the source of the problem with where they came from and what they, every place that they have existed, they have tried to take down the government and killed as many people as they could.
Just look
And
at
nobody,
Lebanon.
you look at Egypt. Egypt could have taken in them and had them refugees, have them in there and protected them. No, they wouldn't even open up their border. Yeah, but they have enough Muslim Brotherhood there. They have their own problems. They don't need more another group of people to come in where they have to worry about the security of these people coming in and taking the Egypt government down.
That's another problem, guys. See, you need to look at all the statistics. It's not like nobody wanted to help them. They have, and they're even now. When I spoke to the Palestinian, one of them, I told them the same thing, that you need to make serious improvement in your government. If you want freedom, you need to first outnumber your government before blaming anybody else, because it's your government that's currently controlling your territory.
I actually think you should also
They
ask
don't have
him
a
who
government.
is their
Yeah,
government. They don't
Hamas
have an
militant.
actual government.
Hamas militant. They rule them all, don't they? Hamas militant. That's all who rules them, right?
They rule
Yeah,
only
they have no
Gaza.
government. They have no leaders that are not totally extreme radicalized terrorists that are a death call. That's pretty
Even
much
Fatah, even the Palestinian
including
Authority.
Abu Mazen.
Exactly. I am seriously intrigued to see how he's going to sneak his way into the United Nations next month.
So, guys, do you have any more questions? This is the biggest.
He's not
I think you have another person
his
in
way in. Matter of fact,
waiting to talk.
blocked from entering. Do you know that Abu Mazen is blocked from entering the United States? He would not be granted a visa to go to the UN. So what? They're going to make a fake UN outside of New York? I'd like to see that. But Abu
That would
Mazen
be
will
funny.
never be in the UN because he can't even get granted a visa here. We don't allow terrorists here. We're not real friendly to give terrorist visas unless you're Joe Biden.
Well, I don't want to start talking about the mayoral race in New York. So uh, let's see who
Okay,
else is in the
Person, you
state
want to
waiting to
come up?
talk.
Person, you want to come up? Raise your hand.
I like some pro-Palestinian to come join us. It's like I would like to. We can get a little debate going. It can be a friendly debate and talk about these subjects and try to educate people.
No, I think it's a good experience. Anybody else who want to come up? Person, you want to come up to have a discussion as an Iranian? Share your thoughts. He's a German Iranian. Before I close out the stream, anybody else who wants to come up and ask questions regarding the two-state incident that's been announced? This is your chance. Ask anything you want. Oh, he's good. He don't want to say anything.
All right, maybe
Hey,
next time.
okay. So I am Shagoni. This is your chance. If you want to come up here and talk to them, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to get prepared to close out the stream. Do you have any more questions, Shagoni? You're in the community. You're welcome to come in here.
Racist comments or something like that. I don't make any racist comments.
Shagoni, you want to come in the room, the live stream room, and ask questions? Yeah. Okay, raise your hand, Shagoni. Raise your hand, Shagoni.
I think he's gone.
No, he's in here. He's in the Discord room. Raise your hand, Shagoni. There should be a hand symbol.
Oh, there.
Okay, here we go. Okay, ready? Here you go, guys. Big change. He or she's gonna talk. Okay, XR.
All right, allow me to actually let's try to talk with her
Okay.
or him or they.
There you go, Shagoni. He or she. You're on. Ask questions.
Hello there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Welcome. Yes, you understood me for a woman, didn't you? What?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Shagoni. Go.
She actually thought I was a she. That's like not a misunderstanding, folks. It was just.
That's fine. Go ahead. Continue your talk. You're on here. You can ask your questions away about the topic. What do you need to ask? There's two Israelis, one in my stream and one in the room. So, what are your questions? Like, what do you feel you need to talk about the two-state solution?
So I want to clarify something. So the main fight is between the Israeli government and Hamas, right? No, the
No.
Israeli. Why you say Israeli government? Because during what the massacre is happening in Palestine, but it was wait. Hold on a minute.
Wait.
You said
XR, please allow him to finish. I want to hear everything so I can respond. Let me
Okay,
respond.
let him
Hey,
finish. Let him finish first.
Palestinians are dying, dude. Well, it depends on where you're getting your information. Are you getting your information from us?
Holly, please,
Are you
I need
getting
you to
information that
regain
is
control of the stage and
not
shut Hexar down so I can hear Shagoni whatever he's going to say.
Okay, Hexar, wait 1 minute. Let him finish. That's what Dorian's saying. Let him finish what he wants to state.
And I will respond to him.
Apologize.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, sure, Dorian, you can respond since you're the host of the show today. Okay, Shagoni, finish what you want to say, and then Dora's going to answer your question.
I will debate further, but for clarifications, I want a little info about what is going on. First of all, I want info about these two nations because I'm a student and I want to gain knowledge about this. And I know something about this related to this topic, but I need more info. So here, my opponent, I want some information from him so that I can ask him question and he can answer me respectfully. It's not a fight, dude. Please, let's stay respectful.
I totally agree. Unless you're referring to the other colleague here that has been riled up as well.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and ask your questions, and Dorian will answer for you. So go ahead, start from the beginning. What do you want to know from both ends, and then maybe he can retaliate and answer to you.
Well, sweet. My question is, I guess this topic is about dividing two separate states for Palestinians and Israeli each. Am I right?
That's the new announcement of the year. Yes, that's the new
That
announcement. But
is a new initiative of an old idea. Yeah.
Hello. I guess the network's weak here. Wait a second. Okay.
And just so you guys know, the latest effort comes from Qatar. Qatar has
Please
spread
let
this.
him speak. I'm
This
trying
hold
to.
on, my
I can barely hear him. Please
hold
let
on,
him
Hexar.
speak.
street
Hold on,
solution.
Hexar. Hold on, Hexar.
Qatar was the one who set all this up. Just so you guys.
Mona, Holly, get
Okay.
XR off the stage, please.
Okay, Hexar.
I apologize, XR, but I really you can't hold it. So, please, I'm trying to hear him and I can barely hear him. And Shigoni, please, if you can raise your voice, I can barely hear you.
New information. Is that correct?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Okay, Dorian, go. Give him some. Give him a basic rundown.
I will give him information,
The history.
and please, Ollie, get him off the stage, and so I can hear Shigoni. I'm saying this with all due respect, and I
Okay,
really do
Mike.
like you, but get Mike, get Hexar
Okay.
off so Shigoni can speak.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you, Hexar, just for a bit. Okay, let him speak, and then I'll put you back.
Shigoni, please speak.
Go ahead, Shagoni.
I mean, that was what I was asking. Like, so as sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Hex. Can I call you that?
No, Dorian. You're gonna talk to Dorian. He's
Are
the
you
host of
going to
the
talk with me?
What can I call you, brother?
Dorian. Whatever.
Dorian.
Go
You can
ahead.
call me
Ask him.
Dorian.
Ask the questions.
Okay, Dor, you said that Qatar gave a proposal that there should be two states, right?
For argument's sake, let's say yes. It's a bit more complicated than that, and we'll expand on a later date if you're interested. But for now, let's just say yes.
And I want to personally ask you, what do you think about this offer? Like, do you think that two opposition will stop fighting, will at least come to a peace agreement, or will this shit go on continuously? What do you think?
I think that I think I think that, first of all, it's not a realistic offer. It will not lead to anything, and it doesn't solve anything. It does not solve first of all, the problem on the ground for the Palestinians. That it certainly does not solve the massive security concerns that that the Israelis have. And regarding to what you said earlier, it's not just between the Israeli government and Hamas. It's also, you need to realize that it's a very real threat that is that the Israelis now possess from another event like October 7th happening, because it also like lift the veil from the eyes of many people here in Israel, that we have now seen that after the cruelty of October 7th, of what happened that day, that we can never actually even try to pretend of making peace with these people. Even if we wanted to, it will take maybe 2 generations to get over this massive trauma so that we might be able to consider. I hope I understand
Yeah.
you receive an answer.
Because away from the October 7th attack, Shagoni, throughout the years, other than what Hamas militant does, Israelis have provided them benefits before. You know, if you were to look to this, you can look up yourself. Type on the internet and see how many Palestinians. How many Palestinians were welcomed in Israel throughout time? And some of them do live there. Not all of them, some of them do.
Not lived, worked.
Work, but they get the benefits, right? Like,
Of working, not living.
from what I know, that's what Ashana told me. But okay, she told me that some live there, but that's fine.
Shayna is an American who as an American could
Okay, but
get
bottom
things
line is they
wrong.
get benefits, right? You only give benefits to people if they're part of you some way. Just put it that way. So they do get.
Now it's a bit semantic issue, but I want to know what Shagoni think of my answer.
Okay, go ahead, Shagoni, answer, and then I'll give you my study answer.
His answer
His
was pretty
answer was
solid. The
pretty
base
solid.
was
The
pretty
base was
solid.
pretty solid.
Whatever he said,
Whatever he said,
I support
I
him.
support him.
My main
My
question
main
was
question was
what
what
might.
might.
Okay, I
Okay,
know that you
I
think
know
some
that you
benefits,
think
and
some
I respect
benefits,
you
and I
for that.
respect you
Good
for that. Good
point. But
point. But
my question is,
my question is,
at the end of the
at
day,
the end
everybody
of the
wants
day,
to eat
everybody
life.
wants to eat life.
So, what
So,
might be
what
the
might be
correct
the
reasoning?
correct
What
name?
Qatar proposed
What
was
Qatar proposed was
absolutely stupid
absolutely
because
stupid because
both state
both
won't
state
accept it
won't
as them.
accept it as them.
Just for clarification, the current offer is not coming from Qatar; it's coming from France, who started this snowball. But in regard to believing about wanting a peace or a two-state or whatever, I don't see anyone here in Israel who would be opposed to the idea of peace. But it's just a matter of no longer being capable of believing it possible.
Can I cut in
Can
so
I
I
cut
can
in so I
explain?
can explain?
Sure.
Okay, so
Okay, so
the reason
the
why
reason why
is they're not
is
gonna
they're
do
not
it
gonna do it
is because
is
throughout the
because throughout
years
the years
they have
they
provided
have provided
benefits,
benefits,
like let them
let
work,
them work,
give them a good
give them a
job,
good job,
and
and
they have
they
give
have
medical
give
treatments
medical
before
treatments before
through the
through the
Palestinians. Sin was
Palestinians.
one of
Sin
them.
was one of them.
But if you're
But
gonna
if
do
you're gonna
these
do
things
these things
that Hamas
that
militant
Hamas
done throughout
militant
the
done throughout the
years,
years,
then it's
then it's
impossible to do
impossible
peace.
to do peace.
No,
No,
answer you can. I
answer
just
you
want
can. I
to
just want to
finish the
finish the
conversation.
conversation.
So, like, do
So,
you have
like,
any
do
more
you have any
questions,
more
Shigone?
questions, Shigone?
Uh,
Uh,
I personally
I
think
personally
that
think that
he was talking,
he
but
was
he was
talking, but
being
he was
good.
being
But
good. But
want him to
I want
continue, to
him
be
to
honest.
continue.
Okay, I'm gonna let
Okay, I'm
the
gonna let
Hexar
the
take the
Hexar
place,
take the place,
and you can ask
and you
Casey
can
your
ask
opinion
Casey
first.
your opinion first.
Okay,
Okay,
Hexar, there you go.
Hexar, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
France was the first
France was the
country to
first
announce
country
this
to
whole
announce
thing
the
about
whole thing about
Palestinian
the
state.
Palestinian state.
Doesn't mean
Doesn't mean
that France
that France
originated.
originated.
They have all these
They have
countries
all these
joining
countries
into it.
doing.
It did not
It
start
did
with
not start with
France worked with
work with
Qatar
Qatar
operations
operations,
like they
just
do
like they do
in the United
in the
States
United States
in
in
paying for the
paying for
programs,
the programs,
the anti-Israel
the
program.
anti-Israel program.
They all
They
and the
all and the
purposes.
purposes.
They also
They also
originated this plan
this plan
for
for
uh,
uh,
the
the
process of what is currently happening in order to
Julian, try fixing your mic.
and
and if you
if you
it did not originate
Even though the France was the first country to announce, does not mean that this plan, it's a plan, that they originated this idea and this whole plan to change the subject and all of a sudden reward Hamas during the time where Hamas has still not been completely defeated and a plan has been taken care of. As a matter of fact, this plan was successful and then it disrupted the hostage negotiations to the point where Hamas took a stronger stance because they felt like, oh, well, we get world support for a quote unquote Palestinian state, of which they would be the leaders of if that were to ever happen right this second, because who else would do it there? So yeah, you're right in the fact that they were the first to announce it, but just be aware that the entire plan for this two-state delusion
Comes
came
from
from
Qatar.
Qatar, and they planned it very similar to how they plan these protests all around the United States on college campuses here. And thank God we got President Trump removing those people in large numbers. Otherwise, it may have never ended here. It's gotten a little better here. As a matter of fact, all these college campuses are getting sued for not only getting sued, but having to make major concessions or lose a ton of money.
As they should.
So
As they
there is
should.
some progress on that. If we didn't change presidents, trust me, that would never have happened. But that was I agree with mostly what was said, but yeah. There, after October 7th, there's going to be no peaceful resolution with the Palestinian people. They need to leave. They need to go. They came there from Jordan. They can go back to Jordan. They can find another country, any countries all over the world that love them and want to take them. But they're not going to have a quote unquote Palestinian state.
Well, I did say they could go to France.
For one, there's no buildings there. There's armed all over the place. Booby traps. It's not a place where and the problem is going to take decades. So
Dorian, fix your mic.
really, that's my opinion. I hope I was able to bring a little bit more clarification.
I suspect you did.
Well, I personally think the point was pretty valid, but I noticed something in the end that we used quote unquote where they came from. They I want to ask you a question personally.
Who, Hexar or Dorian?
It's a personal question. Just
Okay.
to point. Are you Jewish?
Yes, they are.
I can do it.
Both me and Hex are Jews.
You know how much you suffered during Israel in Germany. You know.
Well, considering my example of survived 5 concentration camps, I know very well and our struggle for our people to survive.
Your people leave it. The Nazis were keeping you in the concentration camp.
Fix your mic.
The lads. Taking every people. Killing you with no
Shigone, please tell me you're not trying to compare
course, some
what's
Jews
going on in Gaza.
or Hitler rise. But what about those people? They were in it. Had no chance to. And now supporting Palestinians. Just they were like Jews back then. They're in a state that they can't go anywhere. One side is not moving everywhere.
Well,
Are you comparing the Palestinians to the Jews who survived the Holocaust?
Okay, but let me finish and you can equally every wrong side. Okay? They're going southward, moving toward the south. It's going Jordan. But what if they're going to down. They're human.
You realize that the best solution for making sure that innocent civilian XR, let me answer him. Let me answer. Muna, Ollie, let me make sure that I can answer.
Prince, Jordan,
Let
fix
me
your
answer
mic.
him. Let me answer him.
Jordan, fix your mic.
XR, let me answer. Please. Now.
I understand where this comes from.
XR, let
Jordan,
me
fix.
talk.
Okay, pause, guys. Pause on my show. Pause on my show. Pause.
You are on mute. Inside.
I'm talking to you. Come on here. Disconnect your thing and come in here.
The Jews struggle with the Jews.
It's not what happened to the Palestinian people. It is not even equal to the
Jordan, disconnect the thing, the YouTube, and come in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Why do Palestinians have such a hard time getting along?
Sorry, guys. Technical
No matter
difficulties.
where they reside, whether it's Jordan or any other country that was willing to take them in and allowing them to be part of their country, it's because it's their violent intent, their violent nature to
Okay, guys.
control.
Now you can hear the conversation. Two Israelis and yeah.
That's what you're not understanding. The Jewish people in throughout Europe were not trying to take down their
XR.
What?
I tried to answer him for a long time, but you took control of the fact that you can't even let me answer because I can also say something. And now I almost completely forgot what I was about to say, but now I remembered.
Okay, I'm going to mute you for a second.
You need to realize that the best way to ensure that quote-unquote innocent people would not be harmed in a war zone is to allow them to leave said war zone. The Ukrainians have left the areas affected by war. And if you want to know who you should blame for why there are people dying in Gaza, you should also blame the Egyptians who are keeping the Gazans in Gaza.
Listening, guys, listen to that.
And respectfully, so listen, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was not at all comparing Jewish pain back then towards present Palestinian pain. I was comparing the situation that they had nowhere to escape, so do they. I'm not comparing pain. I know Holocaust, dude. I'm not an idiot. I know how much your people suffered back then. Understand it, please. That's all.
I understand that. Please. Sorry.
Is that any?
Technically, it's supposed to be my co-hosting show. Technically.
Sorry about that, guys. I love you. Okay. Is that okay?
All right. I'm not trying to take over here. Trust me.
Okay. Any more questions, guys?
Everybody should be included. Yeah. But what I was trying to say is, you may not have meant to make a comparison there, but if you listen to exactly what you said, you compared their plight to the Holocaust. That's why you brought up the Holocaust, because you compared them to what happened to the Jewish people and made it as if
this history
they are currently in the.
I did in my previous stream. That history is very important for today to understand what's today.
As a matter of fact, Israel has done everything humanly possible, more than any country in the world, to try to move the non-combatants out of the way while fighting the most ruthless death cult in the region since the Holocaust that massacred 1,500 Jews and Jewish people and non-Jewish people and non-Jewish people included in there in one single day. Matter of fact, in my lifetime, I'm glad my grandparents weren't around to see that this happened. I always, when we talk about October 7th, I'm always thinking back that I could only imagine what they would have came across their mind.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Sorry about the echo. Like technical difficulties, technology. So
because it happened, the exact same thing happened over and over again, and on a regular basis in Europe. And we're not just talking Germany, and it wasn't just Germans and Nazis. It was also the the collaborators and the people who loved that, what they were wanting to do, willing to be fanatical
Our
enough
guest today is
to run
Shigoni.
around massacring
This is the
Jews
Talk with
wherever they
Shigoni,
saw
who's
them.
one of my viewers.
That was really what took place. But that, I mean, to equate, you really don't understand the history of the people who we're talking about, and the current situation. If you're trying to bring up the Holocaust and make a kind of a reference to the current.
Do any of y'all have any more
It's not even
questions?
comparable.
Any more questions to them? Today's host, Shigoni, decided to do the calling. Anybody else who have questions? Raise your hand if you have questions.
They would not be trying to make sure that they do everything possible to prevent casualties. They would just blow up the buildings with people in them. They wouldn't care. There wouldn't be no worry about that. But I'm going to hand it over. I don't want to speak too long, so I'm going to hand it over to Dorian. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. As I wanted to add to what my colleague here also said, that I think you also didn't respond to about Chigone, is the fact that the Egyptians could have opened.
I would love to respond, but I'm staying silent because I want each one of you to complete your point. I have objections against Haxor already, but I'm letting you speak because I respectfully love and respect your point, so I'm going to mute now.
All right. I will allow you to respond to both of us after I will ask the simplest question about the fact that why don't you also put the blame on the Egyptians for not allowing the Gazans to flee Gaza, just like the Ukrainians during the war in Ukraine fled to areas where they wouldn't be directly in the crosshairs of the Russians. Please respond to both of us.
Okay, Dora. First, I'm extremely sorry to say this, but did you even hear a single point I said back then?
Some of it.
Okay, respectfully, I said that Gaza, the people, Palestinians are in a situation that when they're going southward, Israel is bombing from starting like the north side. They're running, they have no place to go, just like the Jews during the concentration camp. I'll come to you, Haxor, about the misunderstanding we had between us.
Yeah, but here's that.
Dora, I said that I condone. I actually showed sympathy towards Palestinians that they have no place to go. I was actually with you in that point, but it seems that you didn't hear me. But it's quite okay. It's common in debate. Now it comes to Hacksaw. Hacksaw, respectfully, we have a big misunderstanding, brother. So you started with the point that Palestinians can go where they came from, like they came from Jordan, go to Jordan, this. I didn't even compare Holocaust, that horrible thing that happened to Jews, to what is happening to Palestinians right now. No way, why would I do that? It's extremely illogical to even compare those two. I didn't compare Holocaust. I said that during that time when Jews had nowhere to go, Nazis were behind them. They would catch them in any corner they're hiding, just what happened to, respectfully, Annie Frank back then. Annie Frank, though she was in hiding, they somehow arrested her and her family, sent to concentration camp. Like, no corner was safe. Now it's the same for Palestinians. That's what I compared. I'm not comparing Holocaust.
Right.
No,
you should ask why. You should ask yourself why they had no place to go. You should answer your question. Like the Jews, there was no reason why they had no place to go.
If you were to read in the past, type on Google, where were they in the previous years?
Do you understand why the Palestinians had no place to go?
They went there, Jordan, and why they were exiled.
Behavior.
That'll give you a clue.
Things that they have done that made them so dangerous people that nobody wanted to take the risk of having them enter their country. Now that they want to talk about a two-state solution, I like to see it reversed. I'd like to see all these countries incorporate all these Palestinian people into their countries, and they do have places to go. That's the difference, too, that I wanted to bring up. The Palestinians currently have a long list of countries that want to, bow down and say, "Oh, we want a Palestinian state." Well, they should all volunteer to take Palestinians in their own countries.
It's
and
not as
figure
simple
out
as it
where in
looks.
Europe
It's hard.
or where in
The announcement that's coming up in
the
November
Middle
too
East,
much.
outside of Gaza, where they want to create you got a long list of countries that want to accept them. So the comparison even today is not equal to Jews in any way during the Holocaust. If you're talking about they have no place to go, they have no place to go is their own self-fulfilling prophecy that they are very radicalized people who are unwilling to assimilate to any place that they go. And their only thing that they focus on is terrorism and trying to take down the government to instill their own caliphate style government. That is the difference between the two. Dorian, would you like to respond to that?
Any other questions before I close it out?
Actually, I would like.
Yes, I think I'm now ready to talk about. Yeah, I think this is also a great example. Is look what happened to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be in the 1960s the French Riviera of the Middle East, you know. And after what happened to Black September, I think I've heard this from Brigitte Gabriel. If you know who she is, you know what I'm talking about, right? Brigitte Gabriel.
Yep.
She talked about how the Lebanese government let in Palestinian refugees from the Black September, and they were small. They didn't act anything out of the ordinary. But once when they got into the majority, then they started to make then they start to behave really radical, like really like extreme. They had an extremely destructive behavior, and that's how more or less the Lebanese civil war happened from the 1970s to the 1990s. And the consequence is we have now we've got a Palestinian community in Berlin. And I think around 90,000 or 20,000 Palestinians live in Berlin, and they make lots of trouble if it's about these demonstrations, like pro-Palestine demonstrations. So that's a good example.
Great example, Persian. I didn't even bring that up. That was a great example. And what you didn't mention also too is that what was the change that happened between the Lebanon of the 1960s to today is that it had a Christian government. It had a Christian government.
17% Christian, which is a lot. This was basically Lebanon was a bastion of Christianity in the Middle East.
Remember I reviewed that, guys? What was Lebanon in my previous stream?
But nowadays they're like 30% Christians. Most of them live in northern Lebanon.
Remember my previous stream that I said about Lebanon, the only Christian country? Right here.
Also, some of them are Hezbollah supporters, which is sad, but yeah, it's kind of hard these days.
Any other questions? Are we good? Shagoni, that answers some of your questions. Some of the stuff I reviewed on my previous stream. These guys are just opening it up, basically, what I reviewed on my last stream about Jewish history and how stuff started and how things got through with time. Now they're just pretty much reviewing it for you, what I said on my previous stream about the Jewish history.
Yeah, and I know maybe admin, is it the time to wrap up or something?
Yes, it is. That's what I'm saying. You don't have any more questions, do you? Because I'm getting ready to close out the stream. And I hope everybody have a better knowledge of the conflict now, based on some Israelis and Muslim Zionists and even Iranians speaking. This is what's back there. Any other questions, guys? We good?
And everyone feel free to, like, it wasn't a hostile conversation at all. We were just simply like everybody can disagree and have their own opinions. You don't have to agree with what I have to say.
That's why you guys are invited in the Discord to talk with these guys and see what you disagree with. Talk to these guys.
If you disagree, I strongly suggest that you do some research too.
Yeah, that's
so you understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I started to make research. I have seen what Hamas did, and it basically, I saw what Hamas is capable of, and I also read the book Son of Hamas, which is a really great book. I can't stress this enough. It's a really great book. Mossad Hassan Yusuf grew up in West Bank to working for Shin Bet and also immigrating out of the US and always getting deported, by the way. I still remember this detail. He was about to get deported, but then some court changed. The verdict was basically, okay, you can actually stay there for having political asylum.
So Shigone, all I'm gonna say is that I'm gonna get ready to close out the stream. Is that if you remember what I reviewed in my previous stream about the nations that been here, but with those nations there were changes throughout time due to the empires and the ruling. And yes, remember what I said in my previous stream that Lebanon was the only Christian country back in the early days of history. Based on today, yes, all that history is important. And if you understand all that, you will understand this plot why Israelis are like against them. It's not like they never gave anything. They have. It's just too much to handle now based on the loss they've gotten.
I agree. And before we wrap up, can I say something?
Sure. What's your question before I close out the stream?
It's not a question. I'm just here to show my gratitude. I've been in multiple debates before, online, you can say. People explain wrong. They don't present good points. They're disrespectful, use slur words. But it was not at all one of them, and I genuinely loved. I was just a guy scrolling through until I saw the live stream, and I met amazing people like you who actually stay calm and present your point, which was absolutely elegant and beautiful.
You're
And
welcome here.
Knowledge, which I didn't know. Genuinely didn't know because many people are too lazy to tell, or am I too lazy to know? I don't know, but it was amazing conversation. This was a very genuine and good idea. I would like to thank everyone here for joining. And I would like to thank everyone for presenting their point, their knowledge. I would love to join another time when the host tells. I really want to join again and discuss about this.
Sure,
Thank you, guys.
I'll bring up another stream again with my colleagues and review it. Till next time. Any more questions, my mods who's working in here? Good. I think we are good, and I'll be happy to next week I'll come up with another show and review. Till then, I'm ready to close this one out. And if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna post the description in the box and a couple of sources you guys can read. Now you guys can understand a better understanding of the Middle East conflicts than to just rely on social media. Just do a little studying, read through time, and see what happened back there. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna get ready to close the stream.
Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, we are going to end the stream.